Welcome, it's great to have you here. Welcome to this video. Today, we will take another look at a small extension kit for the EVO Mini or for all small polishing machines with such a cone adapter. Once again about this small adapter, you will always receive it included in the package when you purchase an EVO Mini. It is not an optional part. Everything is included right from the start. If you got one of the first EVO Minis from the first batch, this adapter was not included, but you can easily purchase it for a few euros if you want to use something like that. There is also the chemical polishing wheel. It looks like this. I now have one of the first models in red here. The current one is in grey, so it's just a color difference, but otherwise the structure is completely the same. And the main wear part of this entire system is the pads right here at the front. You can also see here that when you use the pads for a while, especially around door handle recesses and so on, you will inevitably come into contact with a rubber seal. It cannot be avoided. Or here, for example. At that point, I had it in the car, which was so dirty that it couldn't be cleaned with the cleaner at all. So I polished the chrome parts with 1000, the cone, and it just gets a little bit stained because they were really heavily tarnished. Here again. So these small cone pads or conical pads will simply be the #1 wear part. And that's why you have already seen in the unboxings that I got these extension sets. This means that you can now purchase these small mini pads as well as the cones and everything that comes with them separately because they clearly wear out over time. So let's take a look at what is included. We can also briefly put the whole system into use so that you know how to use it and what it can be used for. I have also made a small video for you at various locations, and now we will pour out the entire contents onto the table. You have 2 different sizes of polishing pads, and you also have these wide cones included. I'm trying to get them all in the picture. They can be used very, very well, especially on the radiator grill of any cooling fins in between. Everything that is extremely narrow, where there are small areas that you just can't reach with a normal polishing pad or a regular backing plate. You can perfectly use these pads here. They are also very stable. You have the cut pad or the cut foam, which is the green one. You have the orange one in the medium range and the blue one in the finish range. The same applies to the small pads. You also have the original small plate included here, because I still have an original set and you can see here that it differs a bit in color. This means that the extension is somewhat differently color coordinated. You also have this very small microplate included here, for example. You see here, this is now included with the original set when you get the kit with the polishing wheel adapter and so on. And the extension set with the pads no longer includes the plate, because you only really get the extension if you already have this plate at home. It looks like one cinematta, and you can put the small pad on here. It's just absolutely top for the interior as well. And from the cones and the cylinders, you also have 6 pieces in total. This means you end up with 18 cones without including the backing plate, which is part of the original set. And now let's go back to the vehicle, and I'll show this a bit more in action. And everyone who has an EVO Mini now also has the option to use this polishing set or just the adapter here for replacement pads. Now let's tackle a door handle recess. Here we go. So I've prepared everything now. The EVO Mini is also included. The adapter is already in place. Here, as mentioned, you could attach the wheel, 2001, or you can directly attach the cones. It's a bit of a handling thing, whatever suits you better. Here we are deciding between one of the two, or I would just test it out. You can already see the difference. You can't fit this wide cylindrical cone in here. You can also take that apart if you have the opportunity. Just do it as a representative example. Here at the E, it is very, very flat. In more modern vehicles, this recess is significantly deeper. You will also manage very, very well with that. But here at the E, you can see that the pad directly hits, and that's why there is the cone. You can initially go down quite a bit, and if you press it a little closer, you really have a very nice handling. That's why there are 2 different sizes, depending on what you want to use and what fits better. Yes, you simply insert it here at the front, slightly twist this tip at the front, push it all the way in, and then just tighten it securely, and then it is completely secured. The whole thing is then rotationally logical, meaning it rotates around its own axis. First, we will take a look at the air so that we can see a nice difference. So here we have the door, handle, and bowl, and you can already see that it is completely milky. You can't really capture the light source properly because the light is always scattering completely. And now we will just take a look at how we can fix this. As you can see, it is not possible to capture the round light properly here because there is a really strong light refraction. It is indeed very, very scratched. We will also see it shortly in comparison why, what a difference it makes when you simply want to polish it here. So let's get started together. I have applied the SONAX here. We also have the cut pad included. This means that the combination is simply the strongest in this case. And you can already see here, make sure that you place the machine really flat. The pad. When a large part of the pad is floating in the air and there is fresh polish on it, it will spray all over the place. Just give it a try. Next tip, start the machine at the lowest setting, maximum at level 2 to 3 here with the EVO Mini. And you can see, if you pay a little attention, no polish flies around, and then you can really keep the machine completely straight again, as you can see now. I adjusted it a bit more, and then you can wonderfully go over this path and, depending on the situation, set it one level higher to see if the cut is sufficient. Should it go one level higher, apply a bit more pressure, just don't press the cones too flat, glide gently over them, and then it will work. If we shine a light here, we can see that there are still very slight hologram traces. You can see some light lateral marks. But if we look at the light, it is already noticeably clearer, and the surface is also significantly brighter. I will now show you the before state again, and here is the picture once more. Now we will quickly go over it with finish polish, because the scratches have really come out very, very well. It is also noticeably clearer, but we still have slight rotary marks, so let's quickly go over it with the finish again. It really works very, very nicely. Here, with this adapter, or also with the wheel. And to show you the wheel again, we will now simply do the finish once more with the wheel together. To use the wheel, you need to remove the cone again. This means pressing the stop button here. By doing this, you secure this connection and can simply turn one head and it will be loose again. You can simply insert it here. While mounting, hold it down, tighten it, and you're done. You can also hold it here, but of course it's much more convenient down here. That's why this button is included, which simply locks the entire system here. With this, you can easily turn it at the front, and when it's mounted, just slide it on, tighten it once, and you're done. Perfect. So press down, loosen, and pull out. Then, insert the shaft in here at the front. Hold it down. It should open a bit more because the pin is a bit wider. Tighten it securely. With that, it is fully assembled. Now we take the wheel, and we take the finish pad cone, or the finish cone as we call it. But you know what I mean? Again, press the stop button here to fix it, tighten it up, and it's done. And take a little bit. Really just a tiny amount here. I'm taking just a very, very small amount of polish now. So, look, just this little bit. And now, don't press any further, but simply massage it in here at the front of the cone, because this area is so tiny, you really need very little polish. Let's just turn on the machine here. And can now operate it wonderfully with one hand.
When finishing, it's actually the same game. Here too, you want to go over it gently. You only want to remove the light polishing marks. If you notice that not everything is gone yet, just go over it again for a second round. This video is all about showing you what this entire system and these cones can be used for. There will also be more videos in the future if you like, especially with the very small 1cm plate. That will be very, very exciting.
And now we will take a closer look at the area. And you can see there is already a really nice clear light source here. In the upper area, we have a few small fine details. We still have some really sharp scratches in there. In the lower area, we can still do some touch-up work. We could also use the Ultimate Cat on March 6th again, but overall, it looks very, very good. So now we have a nice, clear, defined light source, and we still have some light marks at the top edge. We can also touch those up right away. I just didn't go too far under the door handle with the cone, but down here it really looks very, very good compared to before. And yes, we are talking about a vehicle from 1997, which now has kilometers on it. That can't be avoided. But overall, it's very, very well done here. I've shown you another application area, for example, the door handle recess or the interior mirror cap between the glass and the mirror, where there is sometimes really very little space. Grille, interior, and so on. I can definitely shoot a bit more for you on that. If you have any ideas or requests, feel free to write them in the comments below, or even better, reach out via WhatsApp. Sebastian says, show us the small support plate here, the micro support plate, again with an example. Sure, we can definitely do that. The whole process with rotary has its disadvantages as well. You have seen slight rotary marks. Just go over it again consistently with the finish pad, treat it, and then it will look good again. So there are very, very many possibilities, especially with the cone adapter that comes with the EVO Mini. It's all about these cones. I can quickly convert my car as well, but I have to say the shaft is just a bit more comfortable to handle. So this works too. However, this makes the entire machine unwieldy. Especially in tight spots, the length of the EVO Mini can sometimes be a bit cumbersome. Especially here at the door handle mult, you need to move the entire machine like this. When you have this shaft, it's just like drawing. You can take a piece like this in your hand and then refine these small areas here very gently. There are many possibilities. Feel free to give it a try. I think I now have the extension kit 3 times because I will need it again for the upcoming workshops. Thank you very much for watching. Until then, folks, take care and feel free to reach out with any questions. Your Sebastian. Ciao.